right, let's look at another data table that's going to be on our test that's going to be coming up. And what it does is it shows us the distance, which corresponds to our distance down here. So this is our distance. It's going to correspond to our x-axis. And these are the times for both p waves and s waves. So it corresponds to the times here. And it asks you to graph these points. So this graph is going to actually have two lines on it. We're going to, number one, make a line graph of both your p and your s waves. So that means I'm going to have two lines on my graph. So that's really important to note. So how am I going to do that? Well, first, it's going to give me my distance. So at 1,000 kilometers right here, my primary wave is going to be 0 minutes 40 seconds. So we know that this is 0 to 6. This is minutes, right? So 40 seconds is not going to be exactly halfway. It's going to be just below halfway. You're going to put it right above the 1,000. So I have 1,000, 40 seconds. All right? We'll do our secondary waves in blue here, a blue dot. So again, we're at 1,000, and it's 1 minute, 20 seconds. So it's about right there. So now we did that one. We'll go to 2,000, and it's 1 minute, 15 seconds. Well, it's going to be right underneath that blue dot there. And then we're going to go to 2 minutes, 10 seconds, right above that. Okay? So that's got our 2001 done. Now I want you guys to take a minute, and on your own, I want you to do the 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, and 10,000. I'm going to do it, and then I would like you to do it too. 4,000, we go up to 2 minutes. And we put our green dot. We go 6,000, again with our green dot. I'm just doing the primary waves now. It was 2 minutes, 25 seconds. So I'll put one right about there. 8,000, 2 minutes, 40 seconds, a little bit higher. And at 10,000, I'm at 2 minutes, 45 seconds. So my line, green line, is going to go a little bit like that, and that's my p waves. All right? Now let's go back, and we'll do our s waves, and we'll map those out just like we did. 3 minutes at 4,000, it's 3 minutes 25 seconds, so we'll put that right about there. And we'll go to 6,000, and it's 4 minutes 10 seconds, goes just about there. We'll go to 8,000, we have 4 minutes 45 seconds, right about there. 10,000, 5 minutes 10 seconds. So this line comes up like that. And remember, we have our difference between our p and our s waves here. And let's take a look at this graph and see what we notice about the graph itself. All right? If I'm looking at the graph itself, as I go further down, what happens to my space here? It increases. So as we increase the difference between the p and s waves, the epicenter is what? This gap increases, my epicenter is further away. So what would you think that would happen if you had a decrease in the difference? What do you think will happen? Well, let's look at our graph here. We have a bigger increase here. As I go down, it decreases, and what happens to the decrease? The epicenter is closer. So it equals a closer epicenter. So I can gather that just by looking at my map. Even if I can't remember that for the test, I can gather it by looking at the map, because you know that that information will be on the test. That is something that is in there. Another thing that they might ask you is, what is the difference between the traveling times for primary and secondary waves at certain points? So they might say, what is the difference at 2,000? You can look at it on your chart here and do it that way, or you can look here at 2,000. So difference between P and S at 2,000 kilometers is my S waves are 2 minutes 10 seconds, right? My P waves are 1 minute 15 seconds. So what is my difference there? What is my time difference there? So I would have to subtract them out. I can't take 10 minus 15, so let's take a minute over here. 1 minute is 60 seconds, so that makes that 70 seconds minus 15. So it would be 55 seconds is the difference. So you would be able to do that for any time that they gave you by either looking here and doing the subtraction or looking up here and doing the subtractions. Okay? So this graph is graphing P and S waves. All right? And I can do that by making my two lines here, my P and S waves. And those lines and this data here can tell me a lot of information about where my epicenter is and the difference between my P and my S waves. This is something that you're going to need to know for the test, so you might want to look this over a couple times and know how to, number one, map it out, and number two, know how to use that information to gather distances about your epicenter and the time difference between your P and S waves. Good luck.